Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Chris Seibert Show. I am going to hold on. We'll leave this here. Turn my headphones up. There we go. Okay, look. I'm being a big boy today. Bryce is actually at work right now. I'm on my lunch here working remotely for Festool, and I just want to make sure that everything sounds good, and it does. I want to do a quick peek. There we go. Turn to mix it that way. Okay. I think we should be okay. At least fingers crossed, right? So, hello and welcome back. It is officially week 16 of the Chris Seibert Show. And this episode, if you're watching the YouTube version, you're probably like, what the hell is this guy doing? Okay. I think the mic's good there. But if you're watching or listening here for week 16, in terms of a financial literacy point, this could probably be the most valuable episode that you will ever listen to on the Chris Seibert Show. For those of you that know, I'm a big fan of the stock market, always checking up on stocks in my free time, even at the office here. When I'm working remotely at my apartment, I have CNBC on. I've just come to love how the stock market works, the economy, and just it's fun just to kind of check things and see what's popping, what's in a bubble, all kinds of things like that. But once we get to that segment, if you can hold on long enough, I feel like there's going to be a lot of very valuable information for those of you out there that are curious, or maybe it'll inspire you to kind of look into these things that I talk about today, and I'm very excited to share with you guys. So as always, before we begin the podcast, let's go ahead and get into last week's analytics. So in the past 7 days, we've had 4 total downloads on Lisbon. That is the host I use to store the podcast. So if you're listening to it through either Apple Podcast or Spotify, this is the program I upload the MP3 file to, and then it disperses through all these other platforms. But yes, 4 of you downloaded it. And then, of course, on the YouTube side, if you're watching it on my channel, Christopher Seibert, I had 2 views on YouTube and just 1 like. But if we add up the month of August, which this will be the last episode for the month of August, record-breaking, the biggest, huge, massive growth. I'm very excited to share this information with you guys. There was 30 total downloads in August up to this point. Now we'll have this week, and then after this week, it'll be the 1st of September starting next week. But my previous record for total downloads was back in June, and that was only 24. So I'm assuming there's going to be more people or individuals that download this episode through Lisbon, and then, of course, watch it on YouTube. So to have 30 total listeners, or I guess people download the podcast through either Apple Music or Apple Podcasts, Spotify, whatever type of platform they listen, watch. It's huge. So I thank you very much from the bottom of my heart. I mean that in the most sincere way. And it's just cool because, as always, I mean, this is like my favorite thing to do really right now. I love when I have a busy weekend and able to capture and film a lot of cool content. But in terms of just sitting down at my dining room table at my apartment, kind of just give you an overview of the past 7 days, talk about stock stuff a little bit and anything else that's on my mind, and share this data with you is just fun. It's cool. And it's exciting to see, the progression every week. So there's your data for the week for week 16. All right. So when we look at my personal life in the last 7 days, what's going on that you guys have been missing out on? Obviously, sorry, we have Sophie playing in the apartment and she was on my movie stand. I was going to say that if you guys keep up with my channel regularly or my Instagram, you'll notice that I did not upload a minute segment on my Instagram, and I did not upload a full video of Welcome to My Weekends the past week. It was a very busy weekend, kind of expected, right? So this girl who I've been talking to and I've come to really, really like, I had the privilege of going to her parents' cottage lake house this past weekend, and I spent the whole day getting to kind of talk to them, hang out with them. We went boating. I even rode a jet ski, which was awesome, or it's called a wave runner, I guess, in more lake terms or boating terms. But yeah, I got to ride a jet ski, got to meet her brother, her parents, and it was just an awesome time. She told me that I did a very good job, which I'm very excited about, but I can't get too cocky, can't get too ignorant. Emily always listens to my podcast, so I'm sure she's laughing. But the next big step now is trying to be creative in figuring a way to ask her out. And she knows this, but yeah, I've been brainstorming some ideas. I have a couple in mind, but I guess she'll just have to wait to find that out. And hopefully maybe at some point in the future, once Bryce is here and he can hook up the dual channel, I'll be able to have a sit-down conversation with her, and you guys can get to meet her, and she can talk about her life a little bit and her education, because she's a big podcast listener. She listens to mine and a lot of others, but she can share her hobbies and stuff as well. So that'd be kind of a cool little thing for you guys. But yes. And then Sunday, I mentioned last week how I was going to be hiking with my mom and sister and Emily as well. And then I would also be eating sushi. Well, it turned out that we ended up staying up at Bass Lake in Indiana for just a little bit longer than what we entailed on Sunday, which is fine. I just slept and got some rest, but it was so hot to hike, so we didn't end up hiking here at in Indy, and we just ended up getting sushi really quick. It was a very quick trip. We met with my parents, we got food, they left, and then the rest of the day was just kind of chillax. So I didn't really have my camera on me at all this weekend. It was just a very important weekend for me. I tried to be as professional as I could, and it just, there really wasn't anything worth capturing for you guys. So I will be talking about this coming weekend's plans. So I will be having another Welcome to My Weekends, and should be this coming week. Referring back to last week, I talked about how now that I'm not going to be really traveling here anytime soon, that I want to start getting serious again. And this week was the first real testament on doing that. And again, kind of, I guess, touching base and highlighting over what I was referring to last week in terms of not traveling anymore. I really want to get focused again and get energized and get back to this whole mentality of just, getting 3 steps ahead and figuring out the best route to take in terms of finance, fitness, eating healthy, kind of brainstorming ideas for content stuff. So this week, the past 7 days, I've really been working on that. We'll be sharing, a lot of it's kind of been focused on stocks, and I'm very excited to share that with you guys. As you guys know, I talked about budgeting, but I've been working again with Bryce. We got another episode in the can for a segment that should be coming out tomorrow morning. I will be blasting that all over my personal Instagram. I'm very excited for this kind of collaborative work that we're going to ready to begin doing. That's going to be just kind of a side project and really fun and laid back and goofy. Here on the Chris Seibert Show, I'm a little bit more serious on myself. I talk about, my life, things that I'm invested in, stuff like that. But on this different type of platform, when we talk, it's more just kind of humor, laid back goofiness, not serious at all. So it's going to be kind of fun to have, different perspectives of both my YouTube, where I have, the whole Welcome to My Weekend segment where I film the weekend, and kind of it's just a lot of partying with friends, hanging out, doing stuff. This being a lot more serious, talking about my personal life. And then, of course, we have this segment that Bryce and I are getting ready to start, this project where it's just laid back humor. So I'm very excited to share all of that kind of content and bring that up each week. That'll be posted tomorrow, so get ready for a lot of that on my personal Instagram, the Christopher Seibert. But I will be announcing that next week once we officially have stuff live and active. But going back, yes, focusing on content, and then of course eating habits. I've been eating so good, especially now with Emily in my life. We always find a way to cook a really good dinner. We've been eating really well, and then getting a lot of rest, sleeping a lot more, not staying up too late. Even though I stay up usually till about, I'd say 11 o'clock, 11:30 on weekdays, I want to kind of start dialing that back down to keeping it off at a cutoff time at being asleep by 11 in bed. So focusing on that, focusing on my budget as 2020 continues to ensue and we're getting ready to get to the closing point of the new year, 2021, really focusing on my finances, and then just, exercising, getting back into that. Bryce and I ran this past week, so that was nice. We did 2 miles and just getting back into the habit of working out, exercising, and all that kind of stuff. So in terms of this coming weekend, it's going to be a really fun weekend. If you guys have checked out the Welcome to My Weekends episode where I was in Nashville with friends, I will be having both Scott and Ryan. Scott is the individual who I'm going to be a groomsman for his wedding here in a couple weeks in Michigan. And then Ryan was my roommate in college who introduced me to Bryce back at Ball State. But both Scott and Ryan will be coming up to, or I guess I should say technically coming down to Broad Ripple and spending the weekend with Bryce and I. So it's going to be a really good time, a lot of drinks, a lot of filming, and I'm going to make sure to get some good content for you guys since I did not upload anything last week. So this next segment, if you were able to stay patient, wait long enough, is very, very crucial. And I'm very, very, very excited to share this kind of information with you, especially those of you out there who are maybe wanting to kind of start getting better with your finances and think more about, how to make an additional stream of passive income next to your overall salary or hourly wage at your current job. If you've listened to the past episodes, excluding the one with Bryce, because we didn't really talk about this kind of information, but what I've decided to do is moving forward, I'm going to kind of put a halt on all of the different stocks, ETF, REIT, these individual stocks or shares that I own, because it's about to get a lot larger and a lot longer, and I'm going to explain why. So I guess the better way of really starting and breaking this information down to those of you out there is I want to recommend that you start this whole process, and I'll explain myself. Hopefully everything ties in together. But while, budgeting and looking at the future and thinking of, financial achievement and getting ways of streams of passive income, something I'm very avid on. I was talking to Bryce literally, I want to say it was Tuesday, and he told me about an app called Mint, Mint, like mint chewing gum. He heard about it through a coworker, and he told me about it. But I think the first crucial step before we really begin to break down into this conversation is finding a platform or creating a spreadsheet or even downloading something as simple as this app called Mint. And what this app essentially does is it calculates your net worth. And for those of you that don't know, a net worth is essentially all of your assets and cash on hand that creates this overall total value. This can be properties, your vehicle, like I said, stocks, investments. Anything that really generates some source of revenue or income. And this number will just kind of equal itself out, or I guess total or divvy itself up to create this one big number, and that's how much technically you're worth. That's your net worth. But by doing this, the app essentially allows you to insert or put in your bank accounts, all of your investments. And by investments, I'm not saying an individual investment, but like for the example, for me, I use the bank PNC. So I put in my PNC information. I also put in my Capital One information since I have a Capital One credit card. And then I also was allowed to put in my Robinhood account. And it doesn't show me, and I still have yet to figure it out, but it doesn't show me each individual stock I own. However, it just shows my total overall stock market portfolio value. So, and it can be more than one. Say you have a Robinhood account for fun, but you additionally have a Charles Schwab account or a TD Ameritrade. You can put in all of these accounts along with, like I said, all of your bank accounts, and it'll just add everything up. But what the cool thing about this app is not only that you have a one-stop shop for all of your bank accounts, all of your statements, all of your investments, but it creates these graphs. There's budgeting tools. You can set goals. It gives you financial advice. It talks about ways of saving money and cutting back. And it even offers, say you're looking for a credit card and you're not sure who to go to, based off what you have in your account, your credit score that it also shows on this account. It gives you some advice on these are the type of credit cards that might best suit you, whether it being a cash back, a travel card, a rewards card. Any type of card card, and it calculates all these same things with loans, insurance, mortgages, all of the best routes to take in terms of your overall account, while also generating this net worth, and it updates each individual hour whenever you choose to update it. So it's an amazing platform, and I highly recommend and suggest that you download this as a starting point moving forward with what I'm about to get into next. So once you've figured out, how much is in your bank account total, what you're spending monthly, because that's what Mint also does. It shows you these bar graphs of what you've made or grossed this prior period in this month, say of August, and then also what you've spent in the month of August, generating that amount of income left that's in your savings or in your account still. So, what I've done after kind of figuring this whole process out is I've done some research and found a website called Simply Safe. Now, the website's called Simply Safe Dividends, simplysafedividends.com. Sorry about that. But what this program does, now you get a 14-day free trial, and after that it's $399. So you kind of got to make it quick. I will be using and buying the annual fee or service here probably next month or so. Really not too worried about it now. Just kind of want to get my feet wet a little bit. But within this website, this allows you to insert all of your dividend stocks. It tells you if they're safe, their yield, their past history, news. It also tells you when you'll get paid. And then it creates this diagram of an overall annual income stream that you receive from these dividends. So if you say you put in, 100 different companies, ETFs, whatever, that pay dividends, it divvies all this information out to you with numbers, whether it includes your yield, total, your expected growth, like I said, your overall total annual income from owning these dividend stocks. And referring back, I guess I kind of jumped ahead a little bit too much, but in terms of budgeting, I'm starting to take the route of dividend investing. And a lot of people, depending on your type of investing route you take, you got your growth stocks, you got your exchange traded funds, you got your real estate investment trust, you just got growth stocks. Any type of stock you want to invest in. I want to start thinking long-term to where I start being able to receive such a high amount of dividends per year while maintaining my job that I continue to keep reinvesting. So by the time that I retire, I can just live off my dividends, not have to sell a single stock, and can just chill and live very luxuriously in a way. So where everything's very easy, I won't have to work till I die. And even when, say, I do work until I retire, I won't have to worry about a thing because I'll keep generating a monthly amount of dividend cash flow. So it's been my primary focus in terms of shifting my portfolio. Obviously Blink is my biggest holder, but all the rest of the stocks that I own are dividend paying stocks. And if you're still confused by a dividend paying stock, feel free to research it. So going back now to Simply Safe, you have Mint, you have all of your finances in check. You have your savings account. You see what you're spending on an average basis per month, all of this. You can then begin to get on Simply Safe, and they on that platform have advice, again, going back to here's what experts' portfolios look like in terms of dividend investing. And it shows you how safe they are. If you want a retirement where you invest in companies like Coca-Cola, Johnson & Johnson, the companies that are very safe and that aren't going to go anywhere and that will continue to generate dividend income. Or, you can get a little bit more risky and buy into dividend growth stocks that will continue to grow until maybe it gets to a certain point, but their dividend continues to grow as well as they continue to keep reinvesting cash flow into the company's account. I feel like I'm losing a lot of people. I really hope I'm not. But anyways, no, this Simply Safe website allows you to, it gives advice on these different companies, and you can do your own research on what you believe in. That's, I'd say, the most important part of all of this. But what people don't understand, because a lot of people might be intimidated that a fact or look at a stock and say, oh, well, I'd love to own Apple, but it's over $500 a share. Well, yes, that's very scary. But on a platform like Robinhood, and I'm pretty sure most brokerages now allow you to buy fractional shares. And what I mean by that is if I only have $15 that I'm willing to spend, but I can't afford Apple, you can still buy Apple. It just won't be a whole share. It'll be I don't even know the math, but 0.07, whatever. So you still own a fractional share and you still receive a dividend, but I mean, it's a very, very, very minimal amount since you technically don't own the whole stock. But the important thing of what I'm trying to get at is that by, budgeting and using your Mint app and figuring out a way in the app to create a budget to where, say, at the end of each month, end of each week, you have just a little bit left that you're willing to invest, distribute that money through these different apps that you find very cool on Simply Safe. And if you're really curious, and I strongly suggest you do this for fun, check out dividendladder.com. And by using Simply Safe, it applies all of the numbers once you've obtained a portfolio of the dividend yield, how much your starting base is, the expected growth, which also Simply Safe will tell you once you've entered the dividend stocks that you own in your portfolio, and then calculate how much you're willing to invest additionally on a year-to-year basis. So say you only want to invest $500 a year, put that into this platform or website called dividendladder.com on top of your dividend yield, your starting amount, and then the growth and all of that. And it'll calculate X number of years, how many years you want to see, and you'll see what you'll be projected to make at the end of each year over time as you continue to keep receiving this generated dividend from the stock. So, that has been it's a lot to take in, but it's very, very crucial and it's very important. And it might be something I have to create a video on and share to really explain myself in a lot better fashion, because I feel like if you're listening to this, whether you're driving a car, whether you're watching it on YouTube, you're probably just like, I have not a single fucking idea what this guy just said. And I have no idea what he means, but all I'm really trying to get at, and what I've really been working on the last 7 days, is I've tried to figure out, in terms of budgeting and thinking, okay, I make X amount of dollars a month. Now, from that, I spend X amount of dollars. So how do I alleviate my spending to where I have just a little bit more cash flow per month, take that month or that end amount, divide it by 4, reinvest into these different stocks, whether by a fraction, I don't have to buy a full one. So say it's $100 and I have $10 or 10 different stocks, put $10 into each one. Doesn't have to be the full amount. And then after that, I update my Simply Safe account or my portfolio with the right number, and then go on to Dividend Ladder and then check it out and see. I really hope I'm making sense. I feel like I'm not, but hopefully I am. I'm just going to leave it at that point so you guys can understand. But what I'm thinking about doing in terms of, stock market information each and every week now is, because it's such a fun segment, maybe I can break this up and talk about news within the stock market that I've kind of been watching, or trends, and then also just kind of give a quick update like, hey, great news. I invested the amount this week that I was originally going to invest this week. So check that off the list. Boom. On to the next week, and share that with you guys that I properly did that. Not so much what I own and how much of, but maybe I wait and share that at the end of the year. So say this year, as we get ready to end the year, I will show you my dividend portfolio on Instagram. You can see all of my holdings, how many fractional shares and shares that I own. And then of course, follow up with, this is how much I'm making annually this year. Then next year, we'll see if it doubled, tripled, whatever the case may be, So it's just really fun. People might not think it's fun, I'm not sure, but I find it fun. And my biggest thing that I just always think of is, by doing this now, just think 15, 20 years from now, what that money will generate and where I will be financially, because I'm taking the money I'm making now and placing it and making the money work for itself. So again, I hope that I didn't confuse you too much, but again, I think it's super fun and awesome to be able to do this. And for those of you out there that are very curious, please, by all means, feel free and have fun and plug in some numbers. But I recommend by at least starting and downloading the app Mint, M-I-N-T, syncing up your accounts. And if you feel like it's unsafe or not sure, that's totally fine. They have both a website as well as an app in the App Store, or I'm assuming probably the Google Play Store or whatever. Androids, I want to say it's a Google Play Store. I'm not sure. But anyways, whatever you look, it's on the website, it's on the phone. And then, it's extremely safe, but it's a very cool and beneficial thing to have as an app. And then, just do some research. Find some growth stocks that you're interested in, because that is my big chase and hunt right now, is trying to figure out ways of gathering some sort of additional money per month and throwing it in these different types of dividend stocks I own, and distributing that amount between all of them and just growing it over time quickly and fastly and getting a very nice number. And then, of course, additionally, once you've done that, please feel free to check out dividendladder.com. And even if you don't have any stocks, just get on dividendladder.com, put in some numbers, and then just crunch them and see what they say, and try to do your research and find the ones that fit you best. So, But essentially, guys, that's going to wrap up week 16. I'm sorry if I really jumbled your brain or made no sense. I wish sometimes I had somebody here on the opposite end of the camera saying, yeah, that made sense, or no, can you explain that again? But feel free to, I haven't even really said this, and I want to say this too, is if you listen to this through the audio version, however you listen to it, through what program or platform, and you have a question or comment, please feel free to go onto my YouTube channel. It's Christopher space Seibert, S as in Sam, E-I-B-E-R-T, 2 different words. It's a thumbnail of a guy wearing a white shirt like I am right now, and go on the video and type a comment. I can have access to all that. I can see that, and then I can follow up and bring up that question if you're comfortable enough in the next episode. But if you have a question on it, maybe I can explain it better over the keyboard. Or typing to you over the keyboard. That's hilarious. And then, I can also continue to just bring it up occasionally again in future episodes of the Chris Seibert Show. But yes, feel free to check me out on Instagram. I post my portfolio every Sunday, sometimes on Monday, depending on if I get to it. Sometimes I just forget, but it's the Christopher, again, Seibert, all one word, S as in Sam, E-I-B-E-R-T. Basically, you just see kind of minute increment clips of both the podcast. Then you also see a minute increment clip of Welcome to My Weekends. And then additionally, you will see my stock portfolio, and then just motivational posts on my story I share time and time again. But guys, that's all I really have for you this week. We're again almost at the 30-minute mark. I can't believe that. But thank you as always for tuning in. You literally have no idea what it means to me, and I'm very thankful for all the downloads and listens every single week as we continue to keep pumping these episodes out. It's one of my favorite things to do, and I'm just excited each week to bring this to you and share it. But with that being said, have a fantastic rest of your week. The following week, I will be back with a Welcome to My Weekends next week, and then additionally, we'll be doing week 17 of the Chris Seibert Show with plenty of more stuff to talk about. So with that being said, you guys have a fantastic day whenever you're listening to this, and I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.